The time belongs to the gentleman from New Jersey. I appreciate the gentlelady yielding back.
Mr. Patel?
Go ahead.
Will you allow them to testify to you, Mr. Patel?
Mr. Patel, thank you for being here. I know it's been an interesting and difficult 2 days. And I wasn't going to talk about the Epstein thing because there's a lot of other issues that affect the FBI, but I have to say a few words. I've sat here, I've listened to this, I've watched it, and my Democratic colleagues are so concerned now, Mr. Patel, all of a sudden. Where were they last year? Where were they the year before? Where were they the year before that? Where was the last president in any of this? All I know, the only thing I see is a single letter from the ranking member that was sent in 2019 that he didn't like the plea deal, and some people signed on to that. Most of the truth, the real truth, let's be honest, let's be intellectually honest. The real truth is we didn't hear from them at all. Anybody of them. Hardly any of them ever mentioned it. Some of them didn't mention it at all until the beginning of this year. Earlier in the year it started. Not one Democrat asked Director Wray. We all remember Director Wray was here. Not once, not twice, multiple times. Nobody asked Director Wray about Epstein before this committee. Nobody was that concerned. Where was the concern for the victims then? Where was the moral righteousness then? Where was the outrage then? Where was the sense of duty then? Where was the desire for accountability then? Where was the urgency for justice then? Most of all, where the hell was the integrity then? You know what the truth is. Let's just say it, man. Tell the truth time. The truth is, it's politically useful for them to try to do this now, even though they didn't give a damn about it in the past. And you know what? That's an insult to the victims, and that's an insult to America. Continue to do the work you're doing. Continue to uncover what needs to be uncovered. One real quick thing before I say anything to 9/11. We know that was mishandled by the past director and by the past FBIs. There are family members here. There are family members who are concerned. God Almighty, we want to get to the truth of that. I ask you, please, to meet with them, to talk to them, and to investigate this with truth. In the Biden administration, we went through a very dark and difficult period of time. The FBI trust was broken with the people. Catholics this is the stuff we've been talking about, were labeled radical threats for praying in their churches with their rosaries. Parents at school boards were called terrorists for standing up for their children. Hindu holy men in New Jersey. We have the largest Hindu temple in the world. They were attacked. They were put up against the wall with guns to their heads. So it isn't just a Catholic or Christian thing. American Jews were targeted in colleges and universities, and a lot of folks in the FBI, in the past FBI, not this one, didn't give a damn. We can't go back to targeting religion. We can't go back to silencing free speech. The Biden administration did that. So I got questions for you. Hopefully thoughtful questions that you can answer for us in a thoughtful way. How is this FBI now, under your leadership, how are we restoring trust for Catholics, for Hindus, for Jews, for parents, for just American people that were targeted by FISA because they had a different viewpoint? How are we restoring that trust in the FBI?
Multiple ways, sir. One, and maybe most importantly, is through transparency and providing the American public with the material so they can read it themselves as to what the abuses were in the past, whether it relates to the Catholic memo or the Hindu incident you talked about at the largest temple in North America. Any institution of faith and any member of faith will not be investigated by this FBI because they are men and women of faith ever, period.
And nor should they. Nor should they. I don't mean Information League distort data that counts as violence. Have you been able to identify and eliminate these kinds of partisan sources? We welcome all sources, but we want objectivity and neutrality and decency in the way we report all this. Have you been able to uncover any information there? How do we make sure our sources are good in the future?
We have reviewed the source processes that infiltrate any institutions of faith, and they will no longer be going into institutions of faith. They will be directed towards criminal activity and protecting the homeland, the two most important missions the FBI has, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
Good. And I'll say this, there was a lot of bull today, a lot of you know what, and I'm not going to say it because I respect the institution so much going on around here. Continue to do the work of the people. You are here for that reason. The administration is here for that reason. It was weaponized and politicized, the FBI, in the past. I hope to God we never, ever see that again. One of the darkest parts of American history. Thank you, Mr. I yield back.
Mr. Chairman, I have a unanimous consent.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York is recognized for UC.
I would like to introduce a CNN article that explains how an alleged top leader of the MS-13 gang was dismissed. His case was dismissed in Brooklyn so that he could be deported back to El Salvador, even though he was charged with murder.
Without objection.
Mr. Chairman, I have some unanimous
The
consent
lady from
requests.
Washington is recognized.
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record an article titled "Justice Department Told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files."
Without objection.
I have another one that is a July 2025 article by the New York Times entitled "How a Frantic Scouring of the Epstein Files Consumed the Justice Department," stating that DOJ and FBI employees reviewing the Epstein files were instructed to flag any mentions of Trump and other celebrities.
Without objection.
And I have another unanimous consent request to enter into the record an August 2025 article by The Guardian entitled "Ghislaine Maxwell Hinted at Epstein's Ties to Trump Officials. Why Wasn't She Pressed for Names?" stating that Maxwell told Deputy U.S. Attorney Todd Blanche that some of the, quote, cast of characters around Epstein are in Trump's cabinet.
Without objection. Chair now recognizes the gentleman.
Okay, so in this clip, Mr. Van Drew, a Republican congressman, is going off during a hearing. He's clearly frustrated and emotional. He starts by calling out his Democratic colleagues, basically saying, "Where were you when all this was happening before? Why are you only acting concerned now?" He accuses them of being politically motivated, claiming their outrage is fake, that it's convenient now, but absent when people actually needed accountability. He also brings up religious discrimination, Catholics, Hindus, and Jews being targeted, and says that can't happen again. Then Mr. Patel, an FBI official, responds calmly. He says the FBI has reviewed its processes and that they won't infiltrate faith institutions anymore. They'll only focus on criminal activity and protecting the homeland. Van Drew wraps up by saying the FBI was weaponized and politicized in the past, and he hopes that dark chapter never repeats. After that, a few other members, Mr. Goldman and Ms. Jayapal, chime in, trying to enter articles into the record, mentioning things like MS-13, Epstein, and DOJ actions. So, it's a heated political moment. Accountability versus political posturing. Whoa, okay, that was intense. You can feel Mr. Van Drew's frustration. Whether you agree with him or not, he's speaking with real emotion, the kind that doesn't sound scripted. I get what he's saying. That selective outrage is a problem in politics. People get loud when it's convenient for their party, and quiet when it's not. That's not just one side, by the way. It happens everywhere. When Mr. Patel responded, I actually appreciated his calmness. It's not easy sitting there while someone's going off. He handled it like a pro. Just stuck to the facts. The last part, with the other members bringing in Epstein and DOJ stuff, kind of shows how these hearings sometimes become a mixing bowl for everything Contra. Oversight, like 1 minute it's FBI trust, the next it's Epstein files. Total roller coaster. I think moments like this remind us that trust in institutions, like the FBI or government, can't just be demanded. It has to be earned back through transparency and fairness. And as citizens, we need to hold all sides accountable, not just when it fits our team's story. So what do you think? Was Mr. Van Drew being fair here, or was it all political theater? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to read them all. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and ring that so you don't miss the next My Shock Filer reaction. Let's keep it real, respectful, and curious. Just how we do it here. See you in the next one.